I'm going to move the microphone way down. Thank you all for being here. I will give you my apologies first and foremost because I squeezed this in between two things because it was really, really important for me to be here tonight. But when I speak, I have to kind of scoot off. So I'm with you in spirit, and it's not for lack of knowing how important this really is. I just want to take a minute to recognize the people that are here, that are elected officials, people also running for office. We have our county legislature chair, and Tony Jasinski. City Council President Margaret King, and Council members John Mutaviran, and also Marion Porterfield, and Ed Kosher. We have a council candidate, John Ferrari, with us today. And we also have several candidates for family court judge, Jill Polk, also Patricia Rodriguez, and I think I got everyone. Yep, I mentioned your name. Yeah. And then, of course, we have our candidate for state senate, which you'll hear from later, Madeline Thorne, and our senator, Cece Katchik. So here's the important stuff. I have a transgender stepchild. I fooled myself into thinking that his life was normal. He's married, works in a cafe, has a beautiful baby girl, and is always happy and positive. Normal, right? Then I found out that people say things to him like, I don't know what you are. Am I supposed to call you he, she, what? And he graciously responds, well, you could just call me Chris. In the summer, he manages a snack bar at a campground. The management of the campground makes him walk more than a half mile to use the restroom on the outskirts that no one else uses. He's not allowed to use the restroom that the other employees and campers use. These things break my heart. These things send a message to Chris that he is not normal. Who gets to decide that? I have a business owner friend who received a call a couple of years ago. The caller explained that she had been angry about the owner's appearance for a long time, and now she was going to say something about it. She went on to explain she didn't like the way the owner dressed, wore her hair. It wasn't professional. She also said that she admired her work and that she did a great job, but her appearance just wasn't normal, and she should change it. The caller apparently was sure that she knew normal. When I brought gender support resolution to the council, a constituent used privilege of the floor to chastise me and express that protecting the rights of transgender people was not city business. Isn't it everyone's business to protect humankind from harm? Surely that should be normal. One of my business colleagues thought she was being supportive and said how brave she thought I was to bring the legislation forward and to disclose that I had a transgender stepchild. Brave? Someone showing unconditional love, support, and acceptance is brave? Isn't that just normal? We need to extend the human rights law to include gender identity and expression. The Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Act, or GENDA, has been stalled for 13 years. GENDA secures basic civil rights for transgender and gender non-conforming New Yorkers so that no one is fired from their job or kicked out of their home because of legal or transphobic discrimination. When polled, nearly 80% of New Yorkers agree that GENDA should become law. So who gets to decide what normal is? I'd like normal to be defined as being the best person you can be, being kind to one another, and accepting each other's unique qualities. To me, that's normal. And now I have the pleasure to introduce Ewan Renfro, from transgender rights organizer with Empire State Pride Agenda. And thank you all.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming out this evening to make a public stand so that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender New Yorkers have a voice in the New York State Senate. I am, as was just said, Ewan Renfro, the transgender rights organizer for the Empire State Pride Agenda. It's my honor to represent New York statewide LGBT civil rights and advocacy organization, and to reiterate our endorsement of these stellar candidates for New York State Senate, Cecilia Ketchick and Madeline Thorne. Give them a hand. Great. So why? Why is a pro-LGBT Senate so important? I am one reason. As a transgender man, right here, right now in Schenectady County, I am not protected. I am a second-class citizen. In 1945, New York was the first state in the Union to prohibit discrimination with the passage of the original human rights law. The law has been continually revisited and updated over the years in order to uphold its purpose, which is to afford every citizen an equal opportunity to enjoy a full and productive life. The Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Act, or GENDA, would be the latest update, adding gender identity and expression to the list of protected classes under the law. No person can be said to have an equality of opportunity if they can be denied housing just for who they are or how they look. If they can be denied a job, if they can be denied education, if they can be denied the simple right of sitting down in a restaurant to eat. But here in Schenectady County, doing any or all of these things to me or any other transgender person would be completely legal. And that's the case throughout most of New York State. That's why we need GENDA. And that's why we need to elect a Senate that won't keep pushing transgender people and our allies to the side. GENDA is important because transgender lives are important. How can we push back against one of the most violent and murderous summers for transgender women of color on record if transgender people don't have legal equality? How can we advocate for the thousands of homeless transgender youth across the state, refugees from families who abuse them or kick them out because of who they are, if the state agrees that those teenagers really aren't equal and don't deserve protections? How can any one of us be proud of our state if so many of us have to live in fear? So what can we all do? Number one, of course, as everyone here knows, vote. Right here with us. We've got pro-gender, pro-LGBT candidates, and all of them need your votes to make it into office. Madeline Thorne is battling a longtime opponent of GENDA and an ugly denier of transgender equality. Cecilia Ketchick won her last election by 18 votes. 18. Votes do matter, and every single vote counts. Bring a friend, or 5, or 10 to the polls with you. Bring a transgender friend with you. They may need the support. And the boots on the ground work needs to get done too. Volunteer for a campaign. Phone bank for an hour or two a week. Knock on doors and remind people to vote this Tuesday. Then remind them again in November. If you can't do it, donate some money so that people can be hired to knock on doors and call up voters in your stead. We need a pro-LGBT Senate to guarantee that a grandmother can't be kicked out of her nursing home for wearing clothes and makeup that someone else doesn't approve of. We need a pro-LGBT Senate so a veteran who served his country can't be fired from his job after his employer finds out he was discharged for being transgender. And we need a pro-LGBT Senate so when another child becomes homeless because their parents couldn't accept them for who they are, there is someone who cares about them, who believes their life is valuable in the government that is supposed to represent and protect them. New York needs GENDA, and we here have the power to make that need a reality in 2015. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Allison McLean Lane, who is representing the Assemblymember Phil Steck and also the Albany County Legislature. Please give her a hand. Thank you.
Hard acts to follow, I have to say. Again, my name is Allison McLean Lane, and I'm here representing somebody who I really am proud to work for, Assemblymember Phil Steck. He's very sorry he could not be here today. He is in Washington, D.C., attending to his business as an attorney in private practice. Assemblymember Phil Steck is a civil rights attorney whose cases include representing members of the LGBT community in discrimination cases. The transgendered community is a very important part of the 110th Assembly District, indeed all human life. And Assemblymember Steck is proud to stand with you as a legislator in support of your civil rights. Equal protection under the laws for all is all we ask for. The New York State Assembly has passed GENDA 6 times, and Assemblymember Steck looks forward to working with other progressive Democrats in the Senate, such as these here today, to ensure passage of GENDA in the New York State Senate. On a personal note, in my role as an Albany County legislator, my proudest moment in elective office was my absolute yes vote to include gender identity as a protected class in our omnibus human rights law. If the Albany County legislature can do it and do it unanimously with a Republican minority, I am confident that the New York State legislature can do it too. I thank you very much. I would like to introduce the next speaker, Lauren Ford with the Pride Center of the Capital Region. She is the LGBT health specialist.
Thank you. They have like a little podium. They must have known none of us are really that tall. I shouldn't have tried to adjust it. I'll just go down, I guess. So hello, my name is Lauren Ford, and I'm the LGBT health specialist at the Pride Center. Our main office is in Albany, but we actually serve 11 counties. So if you drew a map of New York State and had around anywhere from 60 miles in any direction from our building, that's the area that we serve. We serve more than just Albany or Albany County. And in my role at the Pride Center, I'm in charge of our center support program, which I could talk about for 3 days, but I won't. And one of the programs I wanted to talk to you guys about, because it stresses the need for a broad support of equality for all people, especially transgender and gender nonconforming folks, is our case management services, which celebrated its 2nd birthday this July. Case management services fills a really vital need in our community, and 60% of my clients identify as being transgender or gender nonconforming. And 92% of my clients identify as living in poverty. That's a humongous amount of folks who are really struggling to meet their needs, who are struggling with homelessness, who are struggling with discrimination, who are struggling with mental health issues. And these issues just don't exist in a bubble. It's not like, oh, well, you're just more likely because you are. These issues, because for reasons. One of these reasons why these issues are so prevalent in our community is because of discrimination in employment, and discrimination in education, and discrimination in the home. Housing is healthcare. That's something I've really learned a lot in my role here at the Pride Center, is that people who are routinely kicked out of their house or refused to see an apartment or refused credit at a bank because their gender doesn't match up with what it says on paper for who they are, that has lasting effects on transgender folks. And it's not just a New York City issue, and it's not just an Albany County issue, it's an issue for our state. And many of my clients live in outlying areas and ask me, am I protected where I live? And I have to say no, that you're not. And we know that laws don't necessarily make everything sunshine and rainbows immediately, but we know that we need a broad support for our community on all levels of government. And I'm so proud that we are moving forward in that area, and I look forward to the day when case management services aren't needed. The point of social work is to work yourself out of a job. And I would love for us to get to that point as a community where there are no health disparities for our community, and where every single transgender person knows that their life matters. And the folks that I work with every day don't always know that, because they don't hear those messages. And they do deal with violence, and they deal with issues around discrimination, and they deal with sexual assault and responders who don't know how to respond to them, and they deal with not knowing that they even can vote or how to do so. I could go on forever and ever and ever, because it makes me so impassioned and angry and pissed off to talk about this stuff. But I am so glad to hear so many people here who want a broad base of support for our community, and we'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. So thank you so much for letting me talk. And it's my pleasure to introduce Senator Cecilia Kachik.
Hello, Schenectady. It's great to be here, and it's great to be the senator that represents the 46th Senate District. You heard it right. I won by 18 votes in 2012. And one of the reasons I did win is because people like you voted. People like you talked to their neighbors and said, we need to get someone in the Senate who's going to represent all of us. I am very proud to be there representing every citizen in the 46th Senate District, something that my opponent in 2012, who's the same opponent now, I don't think did a good job of doing. I am appalled that we haven't passed agenda yet. It's been 13 years. Every year my opponent was in the Assembly and had an opportunity to vote against this bill. He did. He's part of the problem. This isn't passed. He wants to go to the Senate. My race is going to be another nail biter. This district that I happen to represent was drawn by the Senate Republicans for my opponent because they thought it would be easy for him to win. They didn't count on me saying, he doesn't represent me, he doesn't represent my communities, and he's not going to do a good job in the Senate. I want someone who's going to represent me, whose vote will matter. Your vote matters in the Senate. So I sent him packing because of people like you. I don't want to win by a squeaker this time around. I want to win by a landslide. I want my nickname to be Landslide Kachik. Because we don't want to spend months fighting over opening ballots in court. We fought really hard to get me there. And I am so proud that I had the full backing of the Empire State Pride agenda and their financial support. And I am proud to be a co-sponsor of Agenda. And this is a bill we need to pass because we need to stand up for human rights. It is not okay to discriminate against anyone for any reason. Why would we continue to send the message because we don't pass this law that it's okay to discriminate against people? This is frankly just wrong. I can't get this passed, however, if we don't have a few more people who take this issue seriously and want to stand up and do something about it. People like Madeline Thorne need to join me in the Senate so we have a clear Senate Democratic majority. Only then will this bill get to the floor, and only then can we pass it. Please help me. There's a clipboard over there. You can not only vote, you can help volunteer. You can help us knock on doors, make phone calls. There'll be folks at that table. Please join us. And also, please help our next Senator, Madeline Thorne, join me. Come on up here, Madeline. And join me and Senator Neil Breslin, who was planning to be here but unfortunately could not be here and sends his regards. He would be here if he could. Please help us get Agenda passed. You're the ones who will get it to the floor this coming year. Thank you. And here's Madeline, our next senator representing Schenectady.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator Kachik. Thank you all for coming out this evening. There we go. I want to thank Chad and all of the other great people that pulled this wonderful event together. I feel so biblical. I am Madeline Thorne, the endorsed Democratic candidate, and I am running to be your senator in the 49th District. when I have the opportunity to join Senator Kachik, Senator Breslin, and our other Democratic colleagues in the Senate, we will work together for the passage of GENDA. Thank you, Senator Kachik, for all of your support, all of your generosity, for your ethics, for your open heart, for your passion, for your compassion. Senator Kachik, I have seen her in action. She speaks truth to power. I predict that one day she will be in our books as the great Senator Kachik. But we need to all work together. We need to keep Senator Kachik in the Senate. We need her there. It would be almost impossible to overstate how important this gathering and other gatherings like this are. They serve as a celebration of how far we have come, but they also are a reminder of how far we still need to go, how much work is still ahead of us. And these rallies, these important rallies, serve as a reminder that we must continue to educate, to inform, and to stand firm. I look for the day when gender, in and of itself, will no longer determine who we may love, how much we are paid, where we can live, or our access to health care. I look for the day for equality, dignity, and respect for each and every one of us. Yes. But let's do more than just look at that great day. Let's join hands and let's work together for that great day. So what do we do now? I am simply going to restate what Nathan Schaefer wrote in Huffington Post, because how could I do anything better than that? Vote. You must vote. Every single vote matters. Please register, please vote. This is our system. This is the way it works. The only way it represents all of us is when all of us include our own voices. And if I might put a little plug in, please vote for Madeline Thorne on September 9th, okay? Thank you. Volunteer. I could sure use your help unseating a 38-year incumbent who has voted against marriage equality and gender consistently. We need to ask him to move aside. And as Senator Kachik has pointed out, 18 votes made the difference. So please, this is so important. Volunteer on these campaigns. We need your help. It's a lot of work, but it's good work and it's important work. Please get involved in a campaign. Although one day you might find yourself running for office, so beware. Donate. Campaigns are very expensive, and just like every single vote counts, every single dollar allows your candidate to reach more voters. Spread the word. Facebook. It's not just for video of cats anymore. It's also a great way to spread the word, share postings, like what your candidate says, share what your candidate says, and that's a great way to help us all out, and we sure appreciate that. And then, this is really important. Share your story. You need to keep educating your legislators. You need to keep working with us. Keep sharing with us. We need to know what's going on. We need to know what our next steps are going to be. When I am the senator, your senator in the 49th, my friends in the LGBT community, I will join Senator Kachik, Senator Breslin, Senator Krueger, Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, and all of my other Democratic colleagues to pass GENDA, the Gender Equality Non-Discrimination Act. It is time and it is right. I stand before you and I proudly announce that I have been endorsed by Empire Pride. I couldn't be more proud of that. I ask you to please support me, support Senator Kachik, and support the full Democratic slate. That means John too, Ed, all of us. Thank you. Oh, such a rookie. Please, Sheila. Oh, I have to tell a story on Sheila. I do. Sheila and I have known each other for 15 years. 15, 20 years. We studied karate together. Sheila kicked me around the dojo 1 or 2 times, but you can come on up now. I don't think you're gonna hit me now. And Matt, please come up. Matt, please, please. My good friend. We had coffee together in New York City. How are you, sweetheart?
Wow. I thought you were going to tell the Gershon story.
Oh, that.
I already told him.
So there we go. I'll move to the side.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew McMorrow from the Empire State Pride Agenda. I want to thank Chad and Chad for organizing this and for everybody for coming out. This is a tremendous crowd. It's beautiful weather, and Schenectady is just great. We at the Pride Agenda do a couple of things. I mean, in addition to advocacy for all of our issues, agenda are top among them. We also do political work, and of course, we believe that every vote counts and everybody should vote. That everybody should get out and volunteer, whether that's phone banking or door knocking or whatever it is. Share things on social media, but whatever you do, volunteer and vote. But we at the Pride Agenda do one more thing, and we encourage everyone to do it too, is we also donate. We also donate to the campaigns because campaigns don't run themselves, they cost money. And people across the state, LGBT folks and our allies have entrusted us with their funds to distribute to campaigns across the state so we get the optimal outcome for the LGBT community when elections come along. And we are proud today to make 2 very substantial contributions to both Madeline and to Cece Kachek for their campaigns for Senate. That's yours.
Thank you. Sure.
Sure, sure.
Over here. We're doing what Sheila says. She's a black belt.
Do what I say, because I don't want to. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you.
Start with me. Smile. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
And again, we encourage everyone to do the same. So thank you and good luck.
Matthew,
Yes.
thank you. Thanks. So good to see you
Good
again.
to see you too. Thank you, Chad.
All right, that wraps up the rally. We want to thank everybody for coming. We want to thank all of our elected officials, honorary guests, and candidates. We want to get us a couple photos, so if you want to stick around and get some great photos of everybody that's up here with us, and we'll ask anybody else that wants to join us, we can get some more photos. But we also want to encourage you, we've reserved space over at Mexican Radio, and we're having a reception, so if you'd like to come over, do some networking, connect with the candidates and the individuals and the honorary guests, please do so. We are asking for a small donation at the door to help support the candidates, so please do follow us over to Mexican Radio after this, but in the meantime, enjoy a little more music and some photos.